6 p.m. in Belabo in the east region of Cameroon, same time right here in Douala. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. Our top stories tonight: Douala residents are up in arms over the timing of road rehabilitation works on key crossroads, warning that it will further exacerbate the city's notorious traffic congestion just as schools resume. To some residents, if the goal is to boost popularity for the ruling party ahead of the elections, then it is a miscalculated move. You'll be getting some reactions of city dwellers in the course of this newscast. Away from that, thousands of orphans in Douala face an uphill battle to access quality education, burdened by inadequate support and resources. While the festive season visits and gifts bring temporary joy, the harsh reality of insufficient funding, lack of basic school supplies, and limited opportunities remains a constant challenge. Those are top stories tonight. The news in full in a jiffy. If you are just joining us, then know you're watching the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. We are broadcasting live in Douala, economic capital city of Cameroon. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. Douala city dwellers have expressed frustration over the commencement of rehabilitation works on some major crossroads in Douala few days to school resumption. With traffic already a nightmare, road users fear the worst. Annabella reports. As rehabilitation works on some major road stretches in the economic capital Douala begin few days to school resumption, city dwellers have been asking questions on the timing which they think is inappropriate.
He wants to use it as a means to campaign, and the impact of it will be sincerely negative on their party, because we thought for 1 second they can surprise us.
Professor Maganthoni resides in Douala and makes use of the Ndokoti-Logbaba stretch and also goes through Fairridge Besenge almost on a daily basis, says the consequences will be heavy on the road users, especially on the eve of back to school.
You make 7 hours just to cross traffic. Is that normal? What is wrong? Why can't they fix the roads when it is time to fix the roads?
The people wonder why launch rehabilitation works in the first week of a busy month like September. October, according to them, could reduce the stress on the locals, especially pupils and students.
They can use pretext now to tell you they didn't fix it because there were rains. Rain started when? There were no rains until August that we had serious rainfall in Douala. So they can't use rain as a cover-up.
On August 29, the Douala City Council, in an official communique, announced that on September 4, rehabilitation works will begin from Fairridge Besenge through Boulevard de la République. The project will last 20 days. Meanwhile, another road project from Dokoti to Carrefour-Logbaba began on September 1 and will last 14 days. The Urban Council, however, says deviations will be created to avoid vehicles spending long hours on the spot because of traffic congestion. Staff Lady Annabella reporting there. Away from that, the Senior Divisional Officer of Diamare, Ekowa Mbaga Jean-Marc, has warned youths who burnt the ruling CPDM party equipment in Mesquite, threatening them with arrest. The incident occurred during a popular protest on August 27, sparked by the cancellation of Minister Louis-Paul Motaz's visit to the locality on August 27th. In reaction, the Mesquite Youth Association and leaders lambasted the SDO's lack of respect for their community, promising to take legal measures against him. Femi Armstrong Sanda is a man on that story. We'll be coming to this story done by Femi Armstrong Sanda, where the Senior Divisional Officer of Diamare, Ekowa Jean-Marc, has warned youths who burnt the ruling CPDM party's equipment in Mesquite, threatening them with arrest. The incident occurred during a popular protest on August 27, sparked by the cancellation of Minister Louis-Paul Motaz's visit to the locality on August 27. And in reaction, the Mesquite Youth Association and leaders lambasted the Senior Divisional Officer's lack of respect
respect for their community, promising to take legal measures against him, as Fomi Armstrong Sanda tells us.
Activities were disrupted due to the plant visit, leading to a demonstration in front of the Lamidad in the area. The senior divisional officer for the Diamari division, Jean-Marc Ekwambarga, accused local political actors of using kids visibly under the influence of drugs to disrupt the visit, prompting threats to ban opposition political parties' activities in the area.
Il ne faudrait pas que les gens essaient de justifier ce qui s'est passé à Mesquine pour dire qu'il y a eu manipulation.
The Mesquine Water Association strongly denies these allegations. In an open letter to the senior divisional officer, the association has said that the protesters were not under the influence of substances and were not children. Instead, they claimed that the demonstration was a widespread popular movement expressing profound discontent. The association explains that the protest was a result of the community's frustration with the lack of progress despite their loyalty to the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, the CPDM party.
Les populations, au-delà du fait qu'elles sont fatiguées d'ailleurs du régime, donc c'était un ras-le-bol.
They cite issues such as over 1,000 unemployed graduates, inadequate roads infrastructure, and limited access to drinking water in Mesquine. The association accuses the Lamida of the area of organizing the mobilization to demonstrate support for the CPDM party, which ultimately backfired.
Et beaucoup de personnes ont annoncé leur démission du RDPC. Plus de 1000 personnes ont annoncé leur démission. Même les cadres du RDPC ont...
Over 15,000 people participated in the protest, many transported from the cities of Douala and Yaoundé at the expense of the local elite. The Mesquine Water Association plans to file a complaint for defamation, stating that the senior divisional officer's accusations are a blatant lack of respect for the community. They emphasize that the protest was a genuine expression of discontent and demand that their grievances be addressed by local administrative authorities.
Now we talk education. Few days to official school reopening in Cameroon, thousands of orphans in Douala face an uphill battle to access quality education, burdened by inadequate support and resources. While festive season visits and gifts bring temporary joy, the harsh reality of insufficient funding, lack of basic school supplies, and limited opportunities remains constant challenge. Malagla reports on the challenges faced by orphans as they prepare for the new school year. Her report.
Every child has the right to education, orphans too. But preparing them for back to school can be very challenging. This is because many carry out orphanage tourism only during end-of-year festive season with Christmas gifts, thus neglecting the most essential, which is their education. Visiting some orphanages here in the city of Douala, the orphan keepers share their experience.
I believe that people should be encouraged to visit during back-to-school periods like this. Education is the best thing that we can give to orphans.
Alors, Félina, on est plus concentré sur ce que les enfants vont manger, plus que sur le côté éducationnel, si je peux dire ça comme ça.
However, they still have to prepare back to school despite adversities.
We have a lot of challenges because, first of all, there are school needs. How many number of bags, books? So we do that preparation, administrative work.
At Trinity Foundation Orphanage, for example, Reverend Pastor Mbungi Oded, mother of the over 40 children, say the preparations for the back to school started months ago, but with limited means.
Last year we were at 8 million for their back to school. This year we'll still be dancing between that amount. I will not say we are at zero. There are a few things, but are not enough.
With these difficulties, the orphan keepers of Les Amis de Jésus and Trinity Foundation, just like any other orphanage, call on people of goodwill to also think of the less privileged while they prepare for the new school year.
Still in education, the British Council has just ended a 3-day training seminar at the Global Language Center in Makepe, Douala, with the primary objective of enhancing the capacity of IELTS teachers in Cameroon. This initiative, which took place from Saturday, August 30th to Monday, September 1st, 2025, marked the first ever training of its kind in Cameroon, bringing together 4 partners of the British Council within the country. The increasing popularity of the IELTS exam in Cameroon, with rising number of candidates taking the test daily, necessitated the British Council's intervention. The training aimed to sharpen the skills of trainers, ultimately leading to improved results of candidates. Now, let's take a listen to the country lead of the British Council, Caroline Defoe, and the director of the Global Language Center in this excerpt.
Organized by the British Council, hosted by the Global Language Center. During the 3 days, we trained IELTS teachers from our partner organizations in Cameroon, and we had a total of 12 teachers coming from 4 different partners. And for us, it is a way to support our partners in the IELTS Partnership Program, build the teachers' capacity to be able to train those who want to take the IELTS test, to improve on their competencies, improve on their capacities, and as an end result, improve on their scores. So we find this a very enriching experience, a very enriching venture, and a symbol of close collaboration with the partners that we have in Cameroon.
I was not really embarrassed, but I was very happy that the British Council chose Global Language Center as the center that would train the teachers of IELTS. IELTS, the exam that is needed for the people who want to go to Canada and those going to Britain and other European countries. The Global Language Center focuses on quality. British Council also focuses on quality. I'm very particular about continuous professional development of teachers. When you are a teacher, you cannot sleep on your laurels because you have to be back every day. AI is a big challenge to education, and if we are not careful, the teaching field will die out because everybody turns to AI.
Now in other news, tears, tributes and questions marked the farewell ceremony of Machang Nicolas Congo, Divisional Officer for Bamenda 2, whose life was tragically cut short. The civil administrator died on July 29, 2025 from bullet injuries sustained during a gun attack in Limbe. Davison Maimo reports.
Thousands of mourners from different ranks and professions gathered at the Limbe Centenary Stadium to pay their last respect and bid farewell to Manchang Nicolas Congo, the divisional officer of Bamenda 2 subdivision in Mezam Division of the Northwest region, who succumbed to death on July 29 after being shot at his residence in Limbe 2 subdivision on July 17, 2025 by unidentified gunmen. The circumstances surrounding his death have sparked widespread speculations that his killing was targeted, given his previous adoption by separatists in 2024 in the Northwest region. Others, however, suggest it might have been a robbery gone wrong.
Our forces, defense forces, will catch all those criminals and they will present them to the judicial authorities. And we are using also this occasion to appeal to all those young men who are still in the bush to drop their guns and join the GDR center.
The senior divisional officer for Mezam Division, representing the Minister of Territorial Administration, conveyed the head of state condolences to the bereaved family, eulogizing the late divisional officer as a great administrator.
Express sincerely the deep condolences of the head of state, President Paul Biya, to the bereaved family, and also to present the same condolences of the Minister of Territorial Administration, the Governor of the Northwest Region, and the entire population of Maison Division.
Manchang's passing leaves a grieving family, colleagues, friends and sympathizers who deeply missed him.
And that's it for this first segment of the news. Cameroon Today comes up next. Just like any other locality in Cameroon, Belabo is also facing the same problems of lack of social amenities. The unstable supply of power has forced petty business operators to shut down. Notwithstanding the difficulties faced, Belabo is well known because of the Bakato quarry where sand is being dug. Smagic and Gabriel tells us more about this area.
After some days in Betua, we are now heading into the heart of the eastern region, this time around in Belabo. But the journey wasn't a smooth one. Under a light rain, the road becomes very slippery, bordered by dense and almost suffocating vegetation. And suddenly, we come to an abrupt halt. A fallen tree completely blocks the road. Since dawn, the locals, with machetes in hand, have been struggling to clear the road. We are forced to wait, like them, for several hours before finally being able to continue. And then, after a few kilometers, we finally arrived Belabo. Here, everything seems organized, well-marked urban roads, smooth traffic, and surprisingly, a clean city center. The population welcomes the progress being made, and many point out the creation of the Higher Institute of Agriculture at the University of Betua in Belabo has significantly contributed to this development. Not only the popularity that is there, but houses no longer remain unoccupied. Every night, even petty traders have something to gain. There exist also touristic sites. But venturing further from the city center, a completely different landscape unfolds before us. The tar gradually disappears, making way to red earth, soil, and the flooded streets remind us that not everyone experiences the same reality. This paradox leads us to one of the main activities that makes Belabo the heartbeat: sand. We head to the Ebakatu quarry on the majestic banks of River Sanagar. The driver who transported us took the opportunity to share their difficulties with us. Lack of passengers, high taxes, high cost of living. Many people don't pay the money required after transporting them. Fuel prices keep increasing too. The tax control is out. That is why you didn't see many motorbikes outside. Around the river bank, a canoe has just offloaded sand. Here, everything is artisanal, armed with a simple bucket. The sand digger dives several meters deep to bring back sand. Without hesitation, he accepts our offer to accompany him on his daily life. I spend majority of my time here and return home sometimes at 5 or 7 p.m. I usually wake up early enough because I cover a long distance to dig sand. I have been doing this for the past 16 years. On the way back, we made a short courtesy visit to the Belabo community radio station. The station is found in the town hall of Belabo. The journalists share the daily lives of the population. We don't have potable water, no education, unwanted pregnancy, and a lot of others. In Belabo, the riches exist, the potential is there, yet the town still awaits real development.
And that report ends the second part of the news. Talking Point is up next. Cameroon's president, 92-year-old President Paul Biya, remains largely invisible to citizens, yet foreign nationals insist that he is in top form. Critics like Calix Biala, who is an author, slam this leadership by proxy, arguing that the president's role is crucial, especially in an election year. We will be exploring the implications of such an outing, and I'll be talking with a civil society actor. He's known as Song Derick. Good evening, Song Derick. It's a pleasure to have you on Talking Point tonight.
And good evening to the million viewers of Equinoxe television, home and abroad. It's always a pleasure to answer presents on your show and to talk about situations that affect this country. And of course, as Cameroonians, we are the crossroads. and we must look at the cameras and speak true to the face at a time when our democracy wants to experience transition.
Song Derick, outgoing ambassador of France to Cameroon, Thierry Marchand, says President Paul Biya has not changed. He claims he met a president who is conscious of himself. In another outing, the Apostolic Nuncio for Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea has said President Paul Biya is doing very well. I think that was in the month of July. What do you make of such outings?
The kind of message this conveys to Cameroonians, there are two important things we should note. One is that foreigners have access to the President of the Republic more than the citizens. This is paradoxical because the chiefs visited the palace, the funds visited the palace, the Mbomboks, the youth who contributed up to 40 million visited the Unity Palace, and they were in the president's parlor. The president was too big to come out and meet the youth, the Mbomboks, the funds in his sitting room. But this is an ambassador of France who visits the president on a private visit and comes out with a medical report. Has the ambassador become a doctor to give us the medical report of the president? By the way, Emma, I want to ask, is the proof of visibility, capability, ability orchestrated, announced by foreign bodies, whereas Cameroonians like you and I cannot see the president? When last, you as a journalist of a reputable radio TV station like Equinoxe, when last did you talk with the president? When last did you see the president? The president comes out during foreigners' visit and cannot come out when the citizens are coming to visit. Is this not a paradox? We are asking ourselves if our president has become so visible to foreigners and invisible to the citizens of the country who are the electorate who decide his fate to stay in the Unity Palace.
Now, how do Cameroonians perceive the disconnect between these narratives from foreign nationals about President Paul Biya's health and his visible absence from public life? And do you think it's appropriate that Cameroonians are informed about the health of the head of state by foreign nationals?
Remember, you are asking this question at a time when the Minister of Territorial Administration had issued warning that people should not talk about the health of their president. Citizens will see this as an insult to the intelligence of Cameroonians. You know, one thing we should be very clear is that if somebody is strong, healthy, and capable, we don't need rumors. We don't need people to go in for private meetings and come out with medical reports. This is no longer democracy. This is photocracy. We are being governed by screensavers, by photos. People go into the Unity Palace, take pictures with the head of state, and justifies his capability. I do not think this is right for Cameroonians. Sad enough, Emma, these messages are coming from people who claim to practice democracy. This is a breach of contract because the kind of democracy that is practiced in France, in the United States of America, this is not the kind of democracy we are having in Cameroon. Tell me, can the French citizens ask to see their citizen, their president, and they don't see the president and don't raise questions? We have citizens in Cameroon who raise and ask questions about the whereabouts of their president. And then foreigners come, go in, have private meetings, and come and give us medical report. It is disheartening, especially at a time when we are talking of campaign. This is raising a lot of mistrust because Other candidates who are selected are already doing their presidential pre-campaign tour. Where is Mr. Biya? What is he doing? Is this not raising mistrust already in the hearts of Cameroonians? If the president we trust, we want to be our leader, cannot talk to us in his parlor, but can talk to foreigners who just come for a visit, and the electorates are there watching, asking questions, and no one is answering.
Now, you earlier raised the fact that pre-electoral campaigns have already begun. We have seen candidates like Joshua Osi in areas like Bamenda. We have seen Cabra Libi in the south region of Cameroon and other parts of the country, visiting different parts of Cameroon. But our president is yet to be seen on the field. Rather, we have seen Ferdinand Gongo, Secretary General at the presidency, doing all the work, as you equally said. If our president is really well, shouldn't he be on the field, given that we are a few weeks to holding of elections, that is come October 12th?
I would tell you that in a normal country, that is how politics is done. Candidates must face the people to earn their mandates. Campaigns are for accountabilities and not proxies. But what are we having? In Cameroon, the President of the Republic is using the Secretary General. We are working under the high instructions of the head of states, the chiefs, the fonds, the governors, the ministers, the so-called elites in Yaoundé who go back with messages to their people, calling on them to vote a photo, to vote a screensaver. We are asking ourselves a question. At a time, like you said, when the president has to be in the field to tell Cameroonians that he is strong, he is capable, he is able, he is viable, he is strong enough to visit the regions. How do you explain that we have a president who, for his last mandate 7 years ago, has not left Yaoundé to any of the other 10 regions of the country? Is that normal? The president, other presidents are there to inaugurate projects, to initiate plans, to supervise, and make sure that projects initiated are carried to the latter. We only see representative. Have Cameroonians or Cameroon be reduced to a proxy leadership, where Cameroonians who want accountability from their leaders they elected now have to ask questions, and those questions are not even answered directly to cameras? I started and I asked you, Emma, when last did a journalist of this nation sit with the president face to face to ask him questions? And as we talk, what is the plan of the president? There are television debates, presidential debates ongoing. Why can't the president sit face to face with journalists, sell us his agenda? What is wrong with Cameroonians? What is wrong with the leadership of Cameroon when leadership has become a photo leadership rather than the human leadership of active participation that we know?
And is it fair to say President Paul Biya's absence on the field undermines the democratic process?
You know, when citizens cannot have a tete-a-tete dialogue with their leader, it is a sign that power is now an entitlement, not a responsibility. It is a sign that elections are for formality. How can we be in a country and we cannot talk to the leader? How can we be in a country journalists cannot relay us the information of our leaders? How can we be in a country where so-called elites or elites will visit the Unity Palace and cannot see the leader? We heard the other day, like you said at the beginning, the Apostolic Nuncio and the outgoing ambassador announced that the president is in good health. The president is doing well. But did they tell the president that while he is doing well, prices of goods and services are not doing well? The cost of living is not doing well. Peace is not doing well. And of course, instability and insecurity is not doing well. It sends out one information to the voters that Cameroonians are going to be voting a man who is loyal to foreigners than the Cameroonians themselves. That Cameroonians are going to be voting someone who comes out when a visitor comes from outside the country and stays in bed while Cameroonians come to visit. But one thing is certain. In this 21st century, Cameroonians need a leader with vision, with viability, a leader who is present, like the case of Burkina Faso, where we have Ibrahim Traoré. He is in the field day in, day out to make sure that the work that is programmed to be done is done. We cannot be in a country where foreigners who preach democracy, who do not support HO leaders to lead them, comes out from private meetings to tell us that the president is strong, healthy, and hearty. A president who has dedicated more than half a century of his life to serve Cameroon. It is but normal for Cameroonians to invite him to go and rest after serving the country for more than 60 years. It is love and patriotism. Anyone who is calling for Mr. Biya to run again is practicing euthanasia, is mercifully killing the president, and that is not patriotism. We must rise up as one man to tell a man who has dedicated half a century of his life for Cameroonians to go and rest while we serve him. That's the act of love we can give him.
Sung Derick, civil society actor based right here in the city of Douala. That's what put a cap to today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your keen attention. Stay in a company of interesting programs that will come up in a few minutes. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye for now.